Doc Kilbert, the Video Foot Doc, here with another video for you on all things foot and ankle. Today I'm going to talk about a very annoying condition. This condition is called a heel fissure. Essentially what this is it's a calloused crack that forms in the bottom of the heel, usually near the bottom of the back of the heel. Most of the time this type of crack appears in the winter for people who live in colder climates, but it can also be seen in the summer when people wear a lot of sandals and other types of shoes that allow for open exposure to the air while simultaneously causing rubbing against the bottom of the heel. What essentially happens in this condition is that there is a loss of moisturization to the heel tissue. In the wintertime, this occurs because people essentially sweat less because they're not trying to reduce or get rid of excess body heat, and so most of that heat stays towards the core of the body and there's less sweating in the extremities. And this allows for decreased production not only of actual sweat and moisture, but also the natural oils that allow the skin to become lubricated. And in the summertime, the same phenomenon occurs, not necessarily because there's a loss of sweating, because the sweating is normal and the production of oil glands is normal, but there's a combination of sort of the evaporation that occurs with air exposure and wind exposure onto the heel tissue itself, such as when you're wearing sandals, as well as the fact that while wearing sandals there's a certain looseness of the heel across this material, and a lot of these essential oils will get rubbed off of the heel tissue and will essentially kind of either soak into the leather or the lining of the shoe itself, or just simply be removed. The end result of this loss of moisturization to the heel is a thickening of the heel tissue. And within that thickening, linear cracks can form, which are essentially lines that can kind of deepen. And in severe cases, as the callus around these lines thicken up, the cracks can go all the way down to the sort of the base of the skin. And as pressure is applied with walking, these cracks will sort of split open, and that causes a bit of a tearing effect at its base, which can lead to a pretty significant amount of pain as one is walking with these cracks or these fissures. Treatment for this condition is very difficult, to say the least. This is a chronic condition for a lot of people in the winter time, and it's hard to kind of keep under control. It requires daily vigilance to sort of keep the heel tissue well moisturized. The key to this is really, as I said, moisturizing well. You need to use a good moisturizer at least once, if not twice a day. The nighttime application of the moisturizer will typically need to be done under the cover of a sock, because that will allow a lot of the moisture to be retained when you place it underneath cover. In extreme cases, you could use something like saran wrap to kind of keep that moisturization in place, but for the vast majority of people, just simply wearing socks when you go to bed will do. And certainly in the wintertime that feels more comfortable. That helps to keep the tissue better moisturized. And the thicker the cream, usually the better it is as far as whether it can fill sort of those cracks and those crevices and help to moisturize the space in between there. Creams with urea or lactic acid are usually superior to more of the water or glycerin-based moisturizing creams, but some of those creams are also more available in prescription preparations rather than over-the-counter preparations. In addition to moisturizing the heel, controlling some of the pressure and the forces that go across the heel are also very helpful in reducing some of the splitting and some of the callus production in the first place. The use of a gel heel pad, one that simply is a pad sort of in a U shape without sort of an opening that fits underneath the heel, can help to displace some of that pressure and to reduce some of the production of strain that goes through the heel and the skin tissue itself to allow it to split. In some cases, the use of a prescription orthotic, which actually stabilizes the heel tissue and sort of supports it and sort of lateralizes the pressure and the strain of walking away from the heel tissue itself, can sometimes also be an answer to reducing this pressure. Now, the combination of reducing the pressure and increasing the moisturization is often effective for a lot of people, but you have to be very vigilant about this each and every single day, otherwise these heel cracks will continue to form. Sometimes it gets thick enough that they need to be trimmed down. I don't generally tend to recommend that most people do this on their own because it's very easy to cut into good skin tissue and create a bigger problem or even start an infection, especially if one is diabetic, which is a big no-no. If they become that painful and that thick, and it's probably best just to simply go see a professional, see a podiatrist, and they'll be able to take care of that and reduce that, and also offer further solutions, including possible prescription moisturizers to reduce the production of this callus or this crack in order to get it to feel better. They have come up with a number of other novel sort of treatments. Currently available is a sort of a sleeve or a sock that has sort of a medicated base to it that basically fits around the heel and the ankle, and this medicated base sits right where the heel tissue is at, in order to reduce some of the the cracking and some of the callus production overnight. I currently have this condition myself, and so I'm trying these products out, and if I find one that I think is particularly effective, I'll certainly make my recommendations to everybody. But as I said, this is a tough condition to treat. It's very common. It just requires daily vigilance and skin care in order to reduce it. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please look for more videos on foot and ankle issues on this site as well as others, or you may look at my website at www.inpodiatrygroup.com. Thank you.